As the sands of time slip through thy fingers, hast thou wondered why some elders stride with strength, while others falter with every step? What secret victuals dost they partake that grant such vigor to bone and limb? In this tale, hidden within the humble fare of each day, lies a truth long overlooked, a power to defy frailty and reclaim thy strength. Stay, dear watcher, for within these next moments thou shalt uncover 5 ancient sustenances that may well alter the course of thy aging. Verily, as was foretold in the opening of this tale, a great question doth stir within the hearts of those who advance in years. Why doth one elder move with firm assurance, while another doth stumble, gripped by frailty and the fear of falling? The answer, though cloaked in simplicity, lies in the relentless passage of time, and the subtle decline it bringeth upon our mortal frame. For as we tread past the age of 50, a quiet rebellion doth stir within our bodies. Our bones, once steadfast as stone, begin to yield, losing the density and strength they once held with pride. Our muscles, the loyal stewards of motion and might, do gradually wane, becoming shadows of their former selves. Tasks once deemed but trivial, a climb up the stairs, a brisk stroll through the garden, or even the simple act of rising from a chair, may grow into trials most formidable. The legs may tremble beneath the burden of time, and the joints may groan under the weight of days long past. A single misstep, once brushed off with ease, now threateneth grievous harm. A twisted knee, a broken hip, or the slow, aching affliction that lingereth for moons on end. This plight, though quiet in its approach, is universal in its touch. It spareth none, and yet it doth not strike all with equal severity. Some, by wisdom or chance, doth escape its harshest grasp. Others falter, unaware that the power to resist this decline lies not in potions or charms, but in the daily choices of sustenance they maketh at their table. Lo, the food thou dost place upon thy plate hath the power to shape thy strength, preserve thy stride, and shield thee from the dread spectre of infirmity. And yet despair not, noble seeker, for this tale is not one of sorrow, but of hope. Though the years may pass, and our flesh may yield to time's embrace, the path to restoration remaineth ever open. Through wise nourishment, the body may yet be fortified. The muscles may once more rise to their station, and the bones may regain their rightful strength. Thus, let us embark together, dear watcher, on this most revealing scroll. Let us unearth the 5 potent victuals that nature herself hath bestowed to preserve the vigor of leg and the steadfastness of bone. For in knowing what to eat, thou may yet reclaim that which time hath begun to steal, and walk again with the assurance of youth, unburdened by the fear of falls or the weight of weakness. And so, having glimpsed the quiet betrayal wrought by time upon bone and sinew, we now turn our gaze toward a most wondrous truth, one oft overlooked, yet ever within our grasp. For though the march of age may seem relentless, and the strength of youth may feel but a memory, thou must know this, dear seeker. The fate of thy limbs is not sealed by years alone, but by the choices thou makest with thy daily repast. Indeed, the food thou dost place upon thy humble plate wieldeth a power most profound. It is not merely fuel for the belly, but nourishment for the very foundation of thy being. Each morsel, each draught, doth carry within it the potential to strengthen thy bones, preserve thy muscle, and bestow thee with the vitality to rise, to stride, and to stand tall against the burdens of time. What thou eatest today may well determine how thou movest in the morrow. Wilt thou rise with sure-footed grace, or tremble beneath the weight of frailty? That, dear friend, is a tale told not by fate, but by food. Verily, nature hath not left us wanting. Scattered across the lands, within tree, sea, and earth, lie potent victuals blessed with gifts most generous. These humble offerings, when woven into thy daily sustenance, serve as quiet sentinels, guarding the fortress of thy body. They nourish the marrow, strengthen the sinews, and soften the stiffness that creeps unbidden into joint and limb. They whisper to the muscles, "Hold fast," and bid the bones remain strong. But the greatest marvel of all lies not in their power alone, but in their simplicity. These are no rare relics, nor costly draughts brewed in secret. They are foods thou canst find with ease, known by name and kind, available in market and pantry alike. And yet their power is anything but common. When consumed with intent, they may halt the slow unraveling of thy strength, and set thee upon a path of renewal. Let not the hour deter thee, even if many years have passed. For it is never too late to seize the reins of thy own well-being. Whether thou art yet nimble, or already feeling the weight of weary limbs, these sacred foods await thy call. Choose wisely what thou consumest, and thy body shall rise to meet thee in kind. Thus, let us now walk further down this path together. The first signs of decline need not be thy doom, but rather a call to arms, a chance to rebuild that which time hath tested. Stay with me, for the scroll ahead shall reveal 5 victuals most excellent, known not just to preserve strength, but to restore it. A new chapter of vitality awaits, and it beginneth with a single bite. Having now grasped the quiet power that doth dwell within our daily fare, and the promise that wise sustenance may restore what time hath worn away, let us lift the veil upon the first of 5 noble allies, the mighty almond, a humble nut, yet rich in strength, most profound. Though diminutive in form, it beareth within its core the essence of fortitude, and hath long stood as a silent guardian of bones, joints, and sinews. Lo, almonds are no mere indulgence, but a gift from nature herself. Laden with magnesium, calcium, and the noble vitamin E, they serve a vital role in the upholding of bone density and the preservation of muscular grace. Magnesium, oft forgotten, is the hidden key that unlocketh the full might of calcium, directing it deep into the bone where it may lend its strength. Without sufficient magnesium, even the richest of calcium may falter in its purpose, leaving bones brittle as parchment in the wind. As we tread into the later chapters of life, the body's hunger for these minerals groweth ever more dire. Many, unaware of this quiet depletion, suffer fractures from the slightest stumble or strain, believing it the curse of age alone. Yet it is oft the lack of such elemental nourishment that doth weaken the very frame which once bore us proudly. But the blessings of the almond extend beyond bone alone. Within its heart dwell monounsaturated fats, those gentle warriors that soothe the fires of inflammation which ravage weary joints. For many a soul in their elder years, the ache of arthritis or the stiffness of time-worn limbs doth become a daily torment. Yet the regular partaking of almonds may serve to calm such afflictions, gifting greater ease of movement and renewed grace of motion. And let us not forget the noble protein that almonds do possess in generous measure, a boon most vital for the preservation of muscle. As the flesh begins to wither and strength doth wane, muscle must be fed, else it fall into decay. Strong muscles serve as faithful sentinels to the bones, lending them support and shelter from harm. Thus, in strengthening muscle, we do shield the very bones we seek to guard. To reap the richest bounty from this noble nut, consider soaking thy almonds through the night, that their nutrients may be unlocked and made gentler upon the belly. Partake of them with thy morning oats, cast them upon thy salad greens, or blend them into thy daily draught of fruit and milk. A handful each day is all it taketh to begin thy journey anew. So now, dear seeker, thou knowest the first step. In the almond thou findest not just a snack, but a silent vow of strength, an oath to stand tall and stride forth, no longer burdened by brittle bone or feeble joint. Let us press on, for 4 more victuals await, each a chapter in thy rebirth of vigor. Thus having welcomed the almond, a small yet mighty sentinel of strength, into the tapestry of thy daily repast, let us now turn to the sea, whence cometh a treasure most unassuming, yet potent beyond measure, Behold the humble sardine, that silver-scaled wanderer of the deep, whose flesh and bone are rich with the gifts of nature most generous. Though small in form, sardines do harbor within their being the very elements that uphold the foundation of our mortal frame. Verily, sardines are a bounteous source of calcium, a mineral most vital in the keeping of bones firm and unyielding. And unlike the fare of dairy, which some stomachs in age may grow to resist, sardines present their gift in a purer form. Their tiny bones, soft and easily consumed, contain calcium in abundance, ready to be absorbed with ease. For many a soul in their twilight years, a lack of calcium doth creep silently into their lives, ushering forth ailments most grievous, osteoporosis, frailty, and a perilous dance with fracture and fall. Yet sardines do not offer calcium alone. They are also graced with the presence of vitamin D, a rare and noble nutrient that worketh in harmony with calcium, to ensure it findeth safe haven in the bones where it is most needed. Without sufficient vitamin D, calcium wandereth aimlessly through the body, unable to fulfill its sacred purpose. Thus, in sardines, we find not just a mineral, but a perfect union, calcium and vitamin D, bound together in holy purpose. But the virtues of sardines extend still further. These sea-dwellers are laden with omega-3 fatty acids, which are renowned for their power to quell the fires of inflammation. Many elders, stricken by stiffness in the knees or the grinding ache of weary hips, may find great relief in the regular consumption of such fish. Omega-3s work gently, softening the joints and restoring a measure of grace to movements once marred by pain. Let it not be overlooked that sardines also provide ample protein, serving the same noble aim as the almond before them, to preserve muscle, and thereby shield the bones from bearing burdens alone. Strong muscles are the faithful allies of bone and joint alike, and sardines do nourish them with care. Incorporate these ocean-born victuals into thy meals with ease, upon toast, in stews, or even straight from the tin. They are both practical and potent, and in their simplicity lies great strength. So now, as thou hast joined forces with both almond and sardine, thou art better prepared to face the trials of age with renewed vigor. Yet more treasures await, each chosen to restore thy strength and carry thee further along this path of fortitude. Let us press onward to the next revelation. With almonds thou hast summoned the strength of earth. With sardines the bounty of the sea hath answered thy call. Now let us look to the pasture, to a sustenance of cultured calm and quiet might. Greek yogurt, a food both simple and profound, known through the ages as a balm to bones, a builder of muscle, and a keeper of the body's sacred inner fire. Though it may appear humble in its vessel, Greek yogurt concealeth within its thickened form a wealth of healing virtue. Strained of excess whey, this noble fare becometh dense in goodness, calcium to uphold the bones, protein to strengthen thy sinews, and probiotics, the unseen stewards of thy gut, ever laboring in silence for thy well-being. Let us speak first of calcium, the cornerstone of bone health, and the very mineral upon which much of thy fortitude dependeth. As thy years increase, the body's store of calcium doth dwindle. Without replenishment, bones may hollow, growing brittle and treacherous. Yet a daily portion of Greek yogurt provideth a steady stream of this essential element, helping to shield thy frame against the perils of fracture and fall. Yet the tale groweth richer still, for within Greek yogurt also dwelleth protein, a builder most vital. For bones may be strong, but without muscle to bear the body upright, their strength is for naught. Protein doth feed the muscles, keeping them supple and firm, that they may protect the bones and empower thy every step. As thou journeyest through thy later years, the preservation of muscle becometh ever more critical, and Greek yogurt standeth ready to serve. And now we come to the third and quietest virtue, probiotics, the living companions that dwell within the yogurt's depths. These friendly strains of bacteria are not merely guardians of digestion. They are keepers of balance, promoting the absorption of nutrients and defending the body from within. Without them, even the richest foods may pass through thee untouched. With them, thy body becometh a vessel most efficient, harvesting the full bounty of every meal. Greek yogurt, though noble in content, is also most versatile. It may grace thy morning with berries and honey, become the foundation of a nourishing smoothie, or step boldly into thy recipes as a wholesome substitute for creams and sauces. It is both feast and medicine, pleasure and purpose. Thus, by adding Greek yogurt to thy daily repast, thou dost complete a holy trinity of nourishment. Almonds to steady the bone, sardines to soothe the joints, and yogurt to heal and uphold from within. Thy journey toward lasting strength groweth more sure with each step. Yet tarry not, for one final chapter awaiteth, a broth of ancient memory, a draught of marrow and warmth that hath restored generations past. Let us press on, for the last of the 5 victuals may yet prove the crown jewel in thy quest for enduring vigor. Now that thou hast embraced the strength of the almond, the ocean's gift of sardines, and the quiet might of Greek yogurt, 3 pillars that uphold thy bones, soothe thy joints, and tend the garden of thy belly, we draw near to a most ancient and revered remedy, bone broth, a potion born not of luxury, but of tradition and patience. It hath long been used by elders and healers to restore that which time doth weaken. Bone broth is not merely a warming draught. It is a tonic of vitality, drawn from the very marrow of beast and bird. When bones are simmered low and slow in water, with herbs, vegetables, and thyme as companions, they yield their essence unto the brew. What resulteth is no common broth, but a golden elixir rich in collagen, calcium, magnesium, and amino acids, the sacred elements that restore the joints, nourish the bones, and lend strength to weary muscles. Let us speak first of collagen, that hidden framework beneath the flesh, which giveth form to our skin, strength to our tendons, and flexibility to our joints. With age, the body's own stores of collagen do wane, leaving cartilage brittle and motion burdened by stiffness and pain. Yet, through bone broth, collagen may be replenished, and the soft padding betwixt joint and bone restored. Many who suffer from arthritis or the slow erosion of their joints have found solace in its daily sipping. Alongside collagen, this broth is rich in calcium and magnesium, 2 minerals of great renown. Calcium, as thou knowest, buildeth the bones. Magnesium guideth it to its place and keeps it there. In harmony, they work to preserve bone density, ward off fractures, and strengthen the very core of the body. But there is more still. Essential amino acids, the building blocks of strength itself, dwell within this humble draught. These do not merely serve the muscles, but play their part in healing, regeneration, and the smooth function of the body entire. In bone broth, they come together to form a nourishment that is gentle to digest, yet mighty in effect. To craft bone broth within thy own dwelling needeth only time and care. Gather the remnants of fowl, cattle, or fish, the bones, the joints, the scraps oft cast aside. Place them in a great pot with water, a handful of herbs, and the bounty of root and leaf. Let them simmer for no fewer than 12 hours, or as many as 24, that the bones may surrender their strength unto the liquid. Then partake each day of a warm chalice, and feel thy joints loosen, thy bones grow steadier, and thy body rejoice. With bone broth, thy table is now graced by the 5th and final champion in this journey of strength. 5 victuals now stand beside thee, each chosen for a purpose, each rooted in the wisdom of nature and time. But remember, dear friend, it is not magic, but consistency that summoneth true change. Let these gifts become thy habit, and thou shalt walk into thy later years not with fear, but with fortitude. Thus, having revealed the final jewel in our crown, bone broth, the ancient elixir drawn from the marrow of beast and fowl, we now behold a truth most heartening. The path to strength and vigor is not strewn with rare herbs or potions known only to sages. Nay, the greatest marvel lies in this, the ease with which these 5 noble victuals may be found and woven into thy daily repast. Many a soul, upon hearing of remedies to strengthen bones and soothe weary joints, doth imagine costly tinctures or exotic fare beyond reach. But lo, these 5 treasures, almonds, sardines, Greek yogurt, bone broth, and the sacred foods yet sung, are no strangers to the humble market, nor foreign to the common kitchen. In their simplicity doth lie their power, and in their daily use the promise of lasting change. There is no need for grand preparation nor burdensome ritual. A handful of almonds may be soaked in water overnight and taken with thy morning meal. Sardines, rich in both bone-building calcium and inflammation-soothing omega-3s, may be enjoyed straight from their tin, atop a slice of bread, or stirred gently into a warming stew. Greek yogurt, thick and nourishing, may find its place with berries at dawn or stand proudly as a companion to thy evening fare. Bone broth, though it asketh for time and patience in its brewing, may be made in great quantity and kept for many days, ready to serve as a morning draught or a base for thy soups and sauces. It asketh not for perfection, only for presence. For in every sip dwelleth the gift of restoration. Indeed, the finest aspect of this journey toward renewal is that it needeth not be swift, nor must it begin in grandeur. Each small step, taken with intent, doth set thee upon a path of fortitude. A single change, be it a spoonful of yogurt, a daily cup of broth, or a few almonds at sunrise, may begin to mend what time hath frayed. And let none say, "It is too late for me." For age is not a curse, but a call to wisdom. The body, though wearied, still listeneth to the hand that feeds it. It is ever ready to heal, to strengthen, to rise again, if thou but nourish it rightly. Thus, dear seeker, take heart. The victuals that restore thy strength are not beyond thee. They ask not for wealth, but for will, not for haste, but for habit. In the rhythm of thy days, as thou comest to know and cherish these foods, thou shalt find thy strength returning, silent, steady, and sure. Now stand thou ready, for the remaining truths yet to come shall reveal not just the what, but the how, the ways to make these victuals a living part of thy tale, that thy every step may be firm, thy limbs steady, and thy future filled with vigor. Now that we have seen how simple and attainable these 5 sacred victuals truly are, how they may be gathered with ease and woven into the humble rhythm of daily life, let us turn our hearts to a truth most glorious and oft forgotten. It is never too late to reclaim thy strength, nor to rewrite the tale of thy body's fate. Perchance thou hast walked many years with limbs that falter, or joints that groan with each step. Perhaps thou hast resigned thyself to stiffness and frailty, thinking them the inevitable companions of age. But hear this, dear soul. The body, though wearied by time, is ever willing to respond when treated with care. It is not youth that defines thy strength, but the wisdom with which thou tendest thy vessel. For what is age, if not a passage into mastery? And what is mastery, if not knowing that each choice, each meal, each morsel, each draught, holds power? The victuals we have uncovered, almonds, sardines, Greek yogurt, bone broth, and their kin, are not merely food. They are instruments of change, humble in form, yet mighty in effect. And when consumed with faith and consistency, they become the very bricks with which thou mayest rebuild thy strength, thy steadiness, and thy spirit. Let not the weight of years dissuade thee. The bones, though aged, may yet be fortified. The muscles, though diminished, may yet be revived. Even the joints, creaking beneath the burden of time, may yet be soothed. These changes do not come overnight, nor with fanfare, but with quiet persistence. They do arrive, one step, one day, one meal at a time. And remember, thou needest not adopt all 5 victuals at once. Begin with one. Let it become thy habit. Let it take root in thy daily life. Then, in due time, welcome another. Like stones placed in a foundation, each shall support the next, until a house of strength is built within thee. Know this also, the path to renewal is not walked alone. Each day that thou choosest wisely, thou dost walk beside countless others who seek the same vigor, the same freedom from pain, the same joy in movement. And in making such choices, thou dost become a light to others, a bearer of hope, proving that strength need not fade, but can be restored. So do not despair, nor delay. The hour is not too late, the journey not too long. Thou hast at thy side the tools of transformation, simple foods, full of might, waiting only for thee to take them into thy care. Thus armed, thou art ready to rise, not just from thy seat, but into a new chapter of life. The dread of falls, of fractures, of failing limbs need no longer shadow thy steps. For now thou knowest the path, and with every wise bite thou drawest closer to a life of freedom, stability, and lasting vigor. Having now awakened to the power that lieth within thy daily fare, and having cast aside the notion that age is but a slow descent into frailty, thou art prepared at last to embrace this truth. Thy strength, thy balance, and thy vitality are thine to shape. And though we have journeyed through 5 noble victuals and the wisdom of their gifts, there remaineth one final charge: to act, to reflect, and to share. For what is knowledge if it remaineth idle? What use are almonds, sardines, or bone broth, if they dwell only upon the page, and not upon thy plate? It is in the doing, in the daily choosing, that the miracle unfoldeth. So now, dear watcher of this tale, ask thyself, which of these sustenances hath already found a place in thy life? And which shalt thou now welcome anew? Let thy answer not remain in silence. Speak and be heard. Share thy thoughts with others, that they too might find courage to begin. Perhaps thou hast long enjoyed Greek yogurt at breakfast, or sipped bone broth in times of ailment. Perhaps almonds have ever been thy faithful companion, or sardines but a distant memory. No matter, each of us beginneth from a different place, yet the destination is shared. A body more steadfast, a spirit unburdened, a future of movement, free from dread. And if this tale hath brought thee light, extend that light to others. For many walk this world weary and unknowing, thinking weakness their only inheritance. But thou, having now glimpsed the truth, may be the very herald they need. Share this knowledge, send it forth like the rays of morning, and help build a world where the elder folk move, not in fear, but in confidence. Forget not, too, to mark this place. Subscribe thyself to this channel of learning, that future scrolls may reach thee with swiftness. There is more to come, and thou shouldst not miss what lies ahead. Tales yet untold, secrets yet uncovered, all to aid thee in the tending of thy precious vessel. But let it be said once more, and clearly so, this tale, though crafted with care, is not the counsel of a physician. It is born of common knowledge, rooted in the garden of nutritional wisdom, and meant to inspire, not replace, the words of a learned healer. If thou art burdened by illness, or walkest a delicate path, seek first the voice of a trusted guide in the healing arts. Each soul is unique, each body its own kingdom. Outcomes may vary, and what healeth one may stir another. So proceed with care, but also with hope, for even the smallest change may stir a great renewal. Now go forth, nourished in mind and soon in body. Choose wisely, partake gratefully, share freely, and I shall await thee in the next moving picture, where together we continue this quest for strength, balance, and a life lived fully, even as the years stretch on.